Austan. It is always wonderful to speak with you. Your reaction to the historic vote this morning and its impact.
Well, you know, it was just heard a very loud crash from the attic, and you don't exactly know what is going to be broken up there, but you know there's going to be something broken. I don't believe Cameron is going to make it to October. I think that's a fantasy. I think he'll be gone in short order. I think this likely harkens the end of the Eurozone. The UK, while not having the Euro, had some of the milder immigration and some of the milder costs of trying to hold Europe together. And I think a lot of the other countries in Europe are now going to have their own referenda and bail out. Yeah, and we've been talking about that, and that's the worry, of course, dominoes falling. But what do you make of the UK's ability to trade and perhaps avoid recession with other EU members? Much has been said about the so-called single market. More than 500 million individuals living in the Eurozone, and the UK wants access to those people, regardless of in or out. Look, I agree with you. I think my answer is sort of on both sides, and it just depends on what your time frame is. Over the longer run, I think they will be able to sort out some kind of trade agreement. There are models. There's a Norway model. There's a Switzerland. There's Canada. Each of those are countries that are not part of the core EU enterprise, but they have negotiated their way. But in the short run, I think they're very likely to have a recession. They're very likely to run up again and again on a series of details where they say, well, wait a minute, do you have a banking license in France now? Or do I have to go back? Do I have to get a special stamp on my visa? And look, you've seen the market reaction. I think they're highly likely to go into a recession in the short run as they kind of deal with that.
Kevin Kelly.
Yeah. Austan, I'm glad you brought up that recession point, just due to the fact that is this going to have a chilling effect on investment as well as consumer spending in the United Kingdom? And actually, what is that effect on the U.S., considering we're such a strong trading partner with them already? We already have our special relationship. Could that trickle through into our economy, given that we are seeing slow global growth as well as slow growth here in the United States?
You know, both of those are important points. I think I don't see how it does not have an impact on British consumers, on investment in the UK, etc. People are going to say, whoa, wait a minute, let's at least put the brakes on everything until we see how this is sorted out. So I think in the closer to the immediate term you get, the worse it's going to be. How it affects the U.S., you know, the UK is a great ally, the special relationship. It's not a very big part of the U.S. economy, so the direct impact will not be that great. If there's a full-blown meltdown in Europe, and look, make no doubt about it, in the UK they had a temper tantrum, they kind of pitched a fit, and they broke some things. Now it's the other guy. They punched their little brother in the face. Now the little brother's going to have a temper tantrum, and it's going to be Europe's turn to start smashing some things. If Europe has a full-blown meltdown, that will definitely affect the U.S. in a negative way. If it's not as big as that, in a weird way, there's a flight to safety, so it's driving our interest rates down. It's driving the dollar up because everybody says, holy cow, the world's on fire.
Mr. Goolsbee, let's go back to you talking about regulations, and when Britain's out of the European Union, it changes the licenses and the regulations. Is that basically, that actually enforces the idea that maybe there were too many regulations in the EU? It just became a paper-pushing nightmare.
Well, look, I'm not. When Obama went to the UK and weighed in on it, as I said, I felt like it was kind of like if your little sister was dating a bad boyfriend and you're trying to decide, should I say something or should I not say something? What am I going to do? I'm not going to weigh in on it's the British people's to vote for that, and they voted for it. I don't know. I would say that in the UK, they've had the least direct intervention, if you want to call it, from the EU. They've had among the least immigration of all the rich countries because it's harder to get there. They're on an island. They're not connected by land.
And they don't use the euro. And they don't use the euro.
Don't use the euro, right. Exactly.
But
so the fact that one of the milder affected countries is basically throwing up their hands and saying, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I think is an indicator they got a tough future. It's going to be a